Hi there, this is Gino. This is episode 5 of Help Us to Bring Sane and Sensible Common Sense Mining Regulations to BC's prospectors and unregulated miners. We're here for the fight for small-scale mining rights at Granite City. Granite City was a gold rush town, which was the second largest city by population in British Columbia during the rush. But as you can see, I don't know if you pause it on that sign there, it has been left to the deers in the grass and is almost been recovered by Mother Nature. You may have noticed this long-bearded fellow over here. His name is Fred Foreman. Fred Foreman has been an active part of BC's prospecting for almost 40 years now, since I think you said 1979, Fred? And this old man here has been witness to both legalized dredging and illegal dredging. You know, that has, since it's been banned, he hasn't been witness to illegal dredging, but he's been around long enough to see the change in the laws. Anyways, my point here is I want to ask Fred a few questions because we don't have too many of these old-timers around left to ask them how things really were before the Enviros decided to invade us.
Not many of us around because we're getting sick and tired of all the BS you got to go through to do anything.
Okay, Fred, well, I got a couple of questions for you. Now, you say you've been around since 1979 prospecting in BC streams. I also know that you're well known for finding several lost mines using what book? What was the book you used?
Okay, hit me with that one.
Oh, sorry. He's old. We'll give him a little bit of leeway here and not ask him to name it. But there is a book that was printed on BC lost mines, and this man here found several of them. He's also was a big part of the Curse of the Frozen Gold creation of the TV show of the lost mine of Slumax at the Golden Ears Park area and Pitt Lake. And so I think it's appropriate that we interview a man who has had a big part in BC prospecting. And we do owe this man a big debt of gratitude because he's always been there for the fight and common sense rules. So, Fred, back in the 79 through, when would you say dredging was banned roughly?
It'd probably be in the early 90s.
About the early 90s. Okay, so you witnessed dredging in these rivers and streams for about, what, 10, 15 years? Okay. Did you notice after the dredging was banned or even during it, any permanent damage to our creeks or anything that you would suggest that dredging was harmful to our creeks?
I've seen a lot more damage come out of logging than anything out of mining.
Okay, thank you. And since the ban, have you noticed any kind of improvements in our streams or anything that would suggest that the ban was beneficial?
Nope, not in the least.
Okay, you're also a fisherman, I understand. Have you fished most of these streams?
Yep.
And has the fishing gotten better since dredging was banned?
Not really, about the same.
About the same? And have you heard any complaints in the news in regards to fish kills or fish stocks in the 1980s, while dredging was active?
The only one I know of was on this creek, Granite.
And
the government came in here, deliberately killed a whole whack of fish upstream.
And how did they manage that?
They dumped a chemical into one of the creeks up here and killed everything downstream.
Okay, so our government, which is in charge of creating our regulations, you're trying to tell me, has done more damage to this stream than any placer miner ever has.
If I recall correctly, it was the NDP in power at the time.
Okay, I'm going to ask you another question because I do know you, Fred, and we got some history. Me and you have mined on the Tulameen River near the what we call the Red Bluffs in previous years. Have we not recovered a lot of mercury from those grounds there, from the old operation that was running there during the gold rush?
Yeah, at times, yep.
Yep. And how does that mercury get caught in our boxes? I'd like to hear it from an old-timer's lips.
It's just about the same weight as gold. It moves quite easily through the water in our boxes. So when we're picking up all this material, we're taking all these toxins out of the river.
Okay, so you're referring to things like what? Fishing weights and lead and...
Fishing weights, lead, shot...
mercury left from the gold rush?
Yep.
Yeah. And do we put anything into the river other than what was already there?
We don't.
See, this is what I'm trying to say, folks. This is coming from the lips of a man who has been around for 40 years. He has seen it done both legally, and he was around for the bans, and he's watched our placer mining industry fall apart over the last 25, 30 years. Fred works alongside me in this fight. He believes wholeheartedly in the campaign that I'm working on here. And just before we conclude this video, well, it wouldn't be a Gino trying to talk for common sense mining video if we didn't show you a flooded stream that normally isn't. So let's go on a little walk here. We're going to leave Fred behind and we're going to call Odin the cougar dog to come with us. Hey, Odin. All right, so just bear with me. I'm in my flip-flops here, so I'm going to take my time going down the hill. But Fred there, Fred's got a bad leg there, so we're not going to ask him to come down this slope with me. But where we are, as I said, is at Granite City. It's a former gold rush town. Millions upon millions of dollars worth of gold and platinum were extracted from these streams, and actually we're just about to walk through some of the old gold rush trenches here. A lot of these trenches were dug by the men in the 1890s who pulled copious amounts of gold from this creek. Anyways, there you go. That's some old workings for you there. And we're almost at the creek. Just give me another moment here. This is Granite Creek. I have claims on this creek. They're about 7 kilometers upstream. And if you go to my Eureka Gold Sands channel on YouTube, you'll find several videos that I've done in the summertime while sussing out my claims. Well, if you take a look at those videos and you look at right now what Granite Creek looks like, it's an entirely different river. Granite Creek is now silted. It has crystal clear water. You can drink straight from the creek. Fish, I've seen fish in the hundreds jumping in the pools here. You could live off this creek if you wanted to prospect on it full time. But here we are, brown water, just like chocolate milk, and those fish, they come back every year. Please explain to me, Premier Horgan, Andrew Weaver, our Chief Gold Commissioner, Mark Mesmer, please explain to me how the siltation from a 3 to 6 inch dredge, putting out about 1,000 gallons an hour, is going to silt up a river of this size. Granite Creek is now about 4 or 5 times its regular width, and probably about 10 to 15 times its standard volume. There are boulders of at least 5 to 6 feet that are rolling around on the bottom of this river, and the fish, they seem to survive. Time for some common sense mining rules, folks. You heard it from my lips, you heard it from the old Longbeard up there. Enough is enough, folks. I'm asking you, BC placer miners, let's organize. Contact me. It's time for us to create an organization that is going to force our government to take a serious look at the regulations imposed on us and suss through them and only keep the ones that are relevant, removing the ones that are not. This is Gino and Odin the Cougar Dog signing out. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you'd like to hear more about the insane regulations put on the little guy, because the big guys are destroying our environment. Thank you very much. Have a great day.